2 Samuel chapter 15. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called him and said, "Of what city are you?" And he said, "Your servant is one of the tribes of Israel." And Absalom said to him, "See, your matters are good and right, but there is no man representing of the king to hear you." Absalom said, moreover, "Oh, that I were made judge in the land, that every man which has any suit or cause might come to me, and I would do him justice." And it was so that when any man came near to him to show him honor, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him, and bowed before him. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel, and it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said to the king, "I pray you, let me go and pay my vow which I have vowed to the Lord in Hebron. For your servant vowed a vow while I abode at Geshur in Syria, saying, If the Lord shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Lord." And the king said to him, "Go in peace." So he arose and went to Hebron, but Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, "As soon as you hear the sound of the trumpet, then you shall say, Absalom reigns in Hebron." And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called. And they went in their innocence, and they knew not anything. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel, the Gileonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. And the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. And there came a messenger to David, saying, "The hearts of the men of Israel are with Absalom." And David said to all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, "Arise, and let us flee, for we shall not otherwise escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly and bring evil upon us, and strike the city with the edge of the sword." And the king's servants said to the king, "Behold, your servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall appoint." And the king went forth, and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women which were concubines to keep the house. And the king went forth, and all the people after him, and stayed in a place that was far off. And all his servants passed on beside him, and all the Cherethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men which came after him from Gath, passed on before the king. Then said the king to Ittai the Gittite, "Why go you also with us? Return to your place and abide with the king, for you are a stranger, and also an exile, whereas you came but yesterday. Should I this day make you go up and down with us? Seeing I go where I may return you, and take back your brethren. Mercy and truth be with you." And Ittai answered the king and said, "As the Lord lives, and as my lord the king lives, surely in what place my lord the king shall be, whether in death or life, even there also will thy servant be." And David said to Ittai, "Go and pass over." And Ittai the Gittite passed over, and all his men, and all the little ones that were with him, and all the country wept with a loud voice, and all the people passed over. The king also himself passed over the brook of Kidron, and all the people passed over toward the way of the wilderness. And lo, Zadok also and all the Levites were with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of God. And they set down the ark of God, and Abiathar went up until all the people had done passing out of the city. And the king said to Zadok, "Carry back the ark of God into the city, and if I shall find favor in the eyes of the Lord, he will bring me again, and show me both it and his habitation. But if you say thus, I have no delight in you, behold, here am I. Let him do to me as seems good to him." The king said also to Zadok the priest, are not you a prophet? Return into the city of peace, and your 2 sons with you, Ahimaaz, your son, and Jonathan, the son of Abiathar. See, I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come word from you to inform me. Zadok therefore and Abiathar carried the ark of God again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olivet, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered, and he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and they went up, weeping as they went up. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Lord, I pray you, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshipped God, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat torn and earth upon his head. To whom David said, If you pass on with me, then you shall be a burden to me. But if you return to the city and say to Absalom, I will be your servant, O king, as I have been your father's servant thus far, so will I now also be your servant. Then may you for me defeat the counsel of Ahithophel, and have you not there with you Zadok and Abiathar the priest. Therefore it shall be that what things soever you shall hear out of the king's house, you shall tell it to Zadok and Abiathar the priest. Behold, they have there with them their 2 sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them you shall send to me everything that you can hear. So Hushai, David's friend, came into the city, and Absalom came into Jerusalem.